Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of this our program in the Spotlight with Solange. Today we are located in Woodbrook Youth Facility or Woodbrook Youth Center in Port of Spain, covering a football match. So in a few seconds I will introduce you the main coordinator of this wonderful idea, Mr. Gavin Luke. Gavin,
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Pleased to be here.
How have you been?
I've been fine.
Are you nervous?
Very nervous.
It's okay, just relax. I'm saying this is a wonderful opportunity. I must say that this is the first time that I actually see like live women football. Therefore, I would like to know everything about this initiative.
Okay, how this initiative came about. I actually started with a small publication called Plenty Sport, which
Plenty
is, I
Sport.
brought a copy for
Oh
you.
yeah, Plenty Sport.
Yeah, I've been doing this for the past 2 years, and the intention of this is really to promote all those other sports we play in Trinidad besides men's football and men's cricket, to give some visibility to all the other things that people are doing in Trinidad, and hopefully to encourage people to get involved in playing sports, knowing that there's so many options that you're not aware of. So I'm hoping to bring some more visibility to sports. Specific to this event, which is called the Women's Indoor WIN, how I came up with this idea is I realized that every weekend there are a number of permutations and combinations and different types of football occurring for men across the country, whether it's big goals, small goal, indoor. And I found that there were not enough opportunities for women to play indoor. I believe Wolf have been doing a good job in starting the Big Goal League for women's football, but what I'm trying to do here is promote the option of indoor for women. So all this hopefully will help encourage women to come out and play the different versions of the game.
So the athletes that are here today, they belong to the schools or they are involved with any club or how?
Okay, well, how I envision this occurring, this event today is actually what I call the first preliminary. So the teams that are here today are actually north-based teams. We have St. Anne's Rangers, we have WIFA, we have Real Dimensions. But what will happen after today is we move to 3 other zones. This event will occur again in the east, in the central zone and in the south zone. And hopefully we will attract the different clubs out in those areas, including some of the schools. Once again, just to remind you, the intent is to bring women out into playing indoor football, to give them another option besides big goal. So that is the intent.
So
All in promoting development of women's football.
Very good. But have you gotten any support from Ministry of Sport or the association?
Yes, what I actually have is the support of the Ministry of Sports. They have kindly donated the first prize for the overall winner of this event in the sum of $5,000. So what that means is when we have all 4 zone winners, they will then play in one location to determine one winner, and they will win a prize of $5,000. The Sport Company of Trinidad has also donated a beautiful little trophy, which I have displayed. Hopefully we'll get to show it a little later, and that trophy is also up for grabs when the overall winner is determined later on in a few months.
Okay, so now I have been observing the match for a while, and I have noticed that how the girl doesn't have the shield protection. It is something that is common on the indoor football, or?
Okay, well, what we're actually seeing there is in big goal football, they are actually a little more strict in terms of the rules, and really and truly, with safety as one of the main issues, we should probably be seeing the women playing with shin pads, but usually in this setting here, we find that when they practice in this small indoor facility, they're usually not accustomed wearing shin guards. So that is probably a good point you raised and something we probably need to look at. But in terms of comfort, they're all probably comfortable now, but it's probably not a safe thing, and we probably need to look at probably introducing for our competition the need for having shin pads as well. But it is a new competition that we're starting here. It's new to Trinidad, so.
Also, this is new. This is the first time that this happened here in Trinidad.
No, this is the first time we're having a series of events like this for women's indoors. But there have been some small events across the country and a small one-off type events. But we're trying to make it across the country, one big event, one winner.
So are you the only one coordinator of this initiative, or there is others?
Right now, I am the main coordinator. I have a couple of people who volunteer to give me assistance. I'm hoping to grow as the initiative grows. I'm hoping to grow the team. I am also hoping to get involved in other projects. I'm not at liberty to probably explain what some of them would be, but all in the intent of developing sport or doing my part to help develop sport in Trinidad.
So you as an administrator, as a person striving to develop the sport in the country, how challenging is for you to keep up and to do things like this one?
Okay, that's a nice trick question you asked me there. But the main thing we have in doing this event, one of the challenges we have is having access to facilities. We do have a ministry who is actively involved in trying to promote development of sport, but one of the limitations we have is the amount of facilities we have. We are seeing progress in terms of a facility now in place for swimming, I believe, in Central, and there is a cycling center. I believe in Trin City there will be a lawn tennis center. So these sort of initiatives are good for the country. Specific to my event, one of the challenges we would have as more people take up sport and even as more women become interested in the sport of indoor, we would probably need to have more accessible facilities, probably community-based facilities all over Trinidad and Tobago.
So what do you think needs to be done to help with the promotion of this initiative?
Well, ideally, I guess the role of the media will have an important part to play in promoting events like this. At the end of the day, it's all about sports, it's about development, it's about getting involved, it's a way to stay fit. We all know, I think we all could say that sports is a healthy activity to get involved in. I think the presence of your show is a good sign when the media could get involved and come out and support shows like this. So I'm very glad to hear you, to know that you're here. I'm very glad to know that you're here.
Yeah.
And hopefully you will help us promote this as much as possible.
That is the aim of our show, is like to promote initiatives like this one and to promote sports like this one that we know that really need to be promoted, because the future of our Olympians depends on how well can we promote them now that they are starting. But how far will you see the women football here in Trinidad in the next, let's say, 2-3 years?
Okay, well, I am not privy to the information in terms of a governmental level, but I have seen the article where the new minister has announced his intention to take women football to a higher level in terms of big goals. So he has mentioned an indication to make the sport a professional sport, as similar to the pro league we now have in Trinidad. So I think that is one of the best things could happen for women's football. That in itself will create a great interest among the women. What we're seeing right now, if you drive around the communities, a lot of the football training camps they have all over, you will see a lot of young girls getting involved, and that is a very good sign for football on the whole, where we see women getting involved and interested in playing the sport.
And is there women football on the Olympics, like indoor football?
There is big goal football. I call it big goal football, but there is big side, 11-side football in the Olympics, both men and women's. Indoor football is not yet introduced as an Olympic sport, but what we do actually have is we have a World Cup for both men and women in the different versions of football. So we actually have, I believe there's men's beach ball, which our side did very well recently, men. I believe there is a World Cup for futsal for the men as well. And I believe there is plans to make women's football in terms of indoor more visible by FIFA. So I'm not quite sure of what their plan is, but I believe that their plan is to get more women in the sport. With more women coming in the sport, of course, it will be better for the sport and for FIFA, of course.
Okay. Well, it was a pleasure to me to interview you, but I can't let you go without the tricky question. Each guest that I have in the program, before they go, they must say a Spanish word. Do you know anything in Spanish at all?
Agua?
Agua? What agua means in English?
Water.
How do you know agua?
Would you like some agua?
Yeah, thank you. Sí, muchas gracias. Well,
Is it Quiero Agua?
yeah, quiero agua. I want water. Very nice. Well, once again, I do wish you all the best in your success and your career. I'm looking forward to have more of this. In fact, I know this sport is badminton.
Okay.
Well, we will be around here interviewing more of your coaches and players and so on. We will cover a little bit more of your project today.
I must say I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be interviewed and to share some of the initiatives I'm doing. Thank you very much, and God's blessings to your show as well. I think it's a great show, and the intention of it's wonderful.
Same thing for you. And stay tuned for our show. We are going to take a short break, and we will be back shortly. Welcome back to our show in the Spotlight with Solange, the program where you start unknown and finish unforgettable. We are going to continue chatting now with Alista Ramdol, the coach of Real Dimensions Club. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Can you tell me something about your club, where it is located?
Okay, first of all, Real Dimension is more or less the founders of women football in Trinidad.
Really?
Right? Yeah, it's one of the first clubs for women's football. You know, they have been champions many times. You know, they have produced a lot of national players.
Seriously?
Right? Yes,
Can you name a few of them?
Well, they have Jean Francois, they have Afia Mattis, they have Baby, and they have a whole set.
The whole set, okay.
A whole set.
And
They
where
play
is
for
the club
national
located?
team. They're from more or less from the Belmont area.
Belmont area?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
So how many athletes do you have in your club?
Well, right now we have about 16 players training. We have players who are coming back from the States when school is
Really?
over. Like Rhea Belgrave, who played in the game against Ecuador. She's a member of Real Dimension. You know, she's coming back. They have Camille Bonio.
Yeah.
She was the national under 17 captain for the World Cup, and she got injured just before the World Cup. So we have a good bit of players coming back from school, and you know, so like I say, it's the most established club in the country where women's football is concerned.
But how many clubs there is in Trinidad of women football?
Well, it has grown over the years. They really had about 8 or 9, you know, but now they have about 15 or 16, and then I hear about some other clubs who are going to be coming into the league this year, like for example, like Police and Malvern and stuff. So the women's football is really developing. You know, they're getting a lot more clubs getting involved, right? A lot of schools playing football, women's football also. You know, so it's growing, and it's growing real fast.
So which is the area in the country that women football is played most, like for Spain?
Yeah. Well, right now it's played all over. You know, it's played all over. You know, they have let's see about 4 or 5 clubs coming out of Port of Spain.
Okay.
You know, the Port of Spain area. Yeah. You know, and then they have clubs. They have clubs as far as Point 14.
Point 14 too?
Yeah, as far as Labre, you know, Marabella.
Yeah.
You know, Arima. You know, all over the country. You know, football has been established. You know.
So with how many players are you here today?
We have 11 players here with us today.
11 players.
You know,
Which age category?
Well, we have some young players. We have players who are still in school, and we have players, you know, 26, 21, 22. You know, average age of about 25.
So, which are your expectations from this event?
Well, I am actually taking this as a coach as part of our preparation for the league.
Good.
You know, it's just an opportunity for the girls to come on and get a blowout, as we say.
So,
you know,
which will be your main competition in the year?
Well, we are waiting to see. We heard talk about a women's pro league. Right? We're still waiting to find out if that is going to happen. If not, they have the Wolf League, which is the women's senior league. You know, so that's what we're preparing for actually.
Okay, and can you tell me something about your ambitions about football in Trinidad? How far do you want to see women's football reaching in Trinidad?
Well, right now we have reached really, really far, especially with the last senior women's team. Um, what my ambitions is to get these girls, all of them outside there playing football. You know, I understand that Canada is going to have a professional league. There's a
Seriously?
professional league, yeah, in the States. They have in Sweden, in Finland, and Iceland. You know, so it's opportunity, you know, for the girls and them to play professional football. You know,
Yeah.
and that is my desire and that is my vision, you know, for women's football in this country, that the match men we're making a dollar off of football is concerned.
So what do you think needs to be done in order for help your players and other players to accomplish their fullest potential?
Well, first of all, the league needs to be developed, right? We need for the league to develop, we need corporate Trinidad coming on board. They need sponsors. You know what I'm saying? And once they get sponsors, you know, I think that is going to help the league, right? Because the women, the young women, they have the desire to play. You understand? But we're in a time where, you know, sports is not just for fun. You know, sports could be a livelihood. You know, and that is my dream for women's football in this country, that the women could play and they could earn a salary playing football. Because
Yeah.
you're talking about women, which is different from men. You're talking about women leaving their children home and stuff and that to play football. You know?
Yeah, it's true. Well, it has been a pleasure for me to have you here in the program, but I cannot let you go without the tricky question,
Sure.
which is say something in Spanish and the meaning of it in English.
Well,
Laughing is not a word now. So say
¿Cómo
something.
está? How are you?
Oh, ¿cómo
bien?
está? How are you?
I'm well, thank
Nice,
you.
nice. You well prepared. Well, looking forward to see you again.
Looking forward
And
to it.
hope that next time you will tell me that how some more of your players got a
Yes.
scholarship and and they're ready to compete on the Canadian League or
Yes,
so on,
the
right?
US League,
So we are going to take a short break. We will be back soon with another special guest, and stay tuned to continue seeing our program in the Spotlight with Solange, the program where you start unknown and finish unforgettable. Welcome back to this our show in the Spotlight with Solange, the program where you start unknown and finish unforgettable. We are going to continue chatting with someone, a very special guest. It's all football. His name is James Blair, but I will allow him to introduce himself because there is too much to say. So, hi.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for allowing me on the show. As I say, I'm James Baird, former Scottish footballer, president of the West Indies Football Association. So we obviously have a team in this tournament. So
Okay. Where are you from, first of all?
I am originally from Scotland.
Oh, two foreigners in the show today. I am from Cuba.
Ah, nice,
Yeah.
pleasure.
So, what brought you to Trinidad?
Well, originally I came to play a match in Tobago actually, and I fell in love with Trinidad and Tobago and ended up staying.
Seriously?
Yeah.
For how long you have been here?
I've been here on and off for about 5 years.
Oh, same amount of years that I've been here too. So, what you have been up to?
Well as playing, as I say, I've been playing on and off, Trinidad, America.
So, when you came the first time, you came as a player.
I came as a player and then I actually ended up staying for about 8 months and playing in Tobago. They had
Seriously?
a professional team then. Then I went back to Denmark and then I missed Trinidad and Tobago so much I had to come back again. So yeah,
So, you know our current Minister of Sport then?
I do. He's a very good friend. Yes.
Ah, okay. So, what can you tell me about football here in Trinidad?
Well, Trinidad has a lot of potential. There's a lot of raw talent, very good players. And I mean, the only thing they probably lack is just a little bit discipline. But I think if they can harness that discipline along with the talent, there's a big future for Trinidad.
So now you as a coach, you said that you're a coach, right? How challenging have been for you, right? Coming out from your country and, get with this culture, Trinidad is sweet tea and tea. We know that the culture here is totally different with Scotland and Cuba in my case. So how challenging it has been for you too?
I think the big first challenge was timekeeping and, as I say, discipline is a hard one here. For example, you'll have training at maybe 9 o'clock. Players will come 9:30, quarter to 10. So I think that's one of the challenges I had to overcome, and maybe be that you have to call training a little earlier to get people there. But as I say, once you get a core of players to work with, and you get to know them, and you get to know their goods and their bads, it's not so bad. And as I say, they're very keen, they love football, and I think at some point very soon, I mean, Trinidad went to the World Cup in 2006.
Yeah.
I think at some point soon they will definitely pop back on the radar again.
Okay. So, what is your role on this tournament here today?
Well, I'm the technical director of the West Indies national team, so we play in the non-FIFA tournaments. And this tournament, obviously, we have our girls playing, who are only really pulled together for this tournament, but we will hopefully over the next coming months put that team together properly. But we also have the guys, which is a development squad for guys 16 plus, and they've been working for about 8 months now. And then we also have the national team as well, and they play all over the world in the major tournaments. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your views with regards to the women's football?
Well, women's football in Trinidad has definitely been up and coming for the last 3 to 4 years. When I've been here, I've seen a big rise in that, and there's a lot of talent, a lot of good players, and even from the tournament we're seeing today, I mean, the touch, their ability, and they seem to play with a smile on their face, which is something that is really nice to see. So there's a big future as well for women's football.
Okay, so right now where do you base? In Tobago or here in Trinidad?
We're based here in Trinidad. Our home office is in St. Joseph. We currently use Arangua Savannah, but we do have options of opening out as well into a few other areas.
So how often do you train in the week?
The team trains twice a week at the moment, and then the national team will come in to do the training as well. So most likely we will up it to maybe 3 or 4 times a week, but it just depends on when we have games and when we have tournaments and things as well.
So you spend most likely the entire day coaching football?
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you do on your spare time? I mean, do you have any spare time?
I do have quite a bit of spare time as well. I have a son who will be coming up to be 2 this year, and my wife as well. So I spend the time with them. And
because when you came in the beginning, you came alone?
I came alone, yeah, and I met my wife in Tobago, and she's obviously one of the draws that I probably had as well.
So your wife is Trini then?
She's a Trini, yes.
I know, wife is Trini.
And yeah, we like to relax together and just do normal things, go to the mall, watch a movie here and there, yeah.
So which country do you prefer now, Trinidad or Scotland? Your wife is watching, you know?
I love Trinidad. I'm not saying I don't love home, but here's became very much home for me.
Yeah. And how often you go back Scotland?
Well, I have not been back for about 2 years, but we do have a trip coming up more than likely in August. So.
Okay. Well, it's so nice to have you in the program, so I'm looking forward to interview you sometime in the near future.
No problem.
And I really believe that with talents like you in the country, football in general, women and boys will reach very far.
Yeah, thank you
so
very much.
thank you again. And, but before we go, we have a tricky question, which is you have to say something in Spanish.
In Spanish.
And the meaning of it in English.
Well, I actually played with 2 Colombian players when I was in Tobago, and they used to call me pollo.
Pollo?
Which I think means chicken. If
Yeah,
I'm right.
chicken.
I think because of my white complexion, but yes.
How do you say goal in Spanish? It's
I
the same thing, goal!
Well, there we go. I've learned something today.
Okay, so thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Same to you, thank you.
And you folks, that is it for today, to our show. But stay tuned for another edition of this, our program, In the Spotlight with Solange, the program where you start unknown and finish unforgettable. So until I see you again, keep good, keep happy, keep blessed. Ciao.